All right, welcome to Google, everybody. We're excited to have you for our, what are we calling this? A Tech Mixer NYC. Welcome. Let's give it up to everyone who's helped. Yeah, all right. How many of you guys, this is your first time at Google? Yes, so many, so many. Welcome to Google. We're so stoked to have you here. We've got a lot of companies here. I'm going to give shout outs. So when I say your company, please make some noise. This is kind of like high school days. Do you remember pep rallies? Yeah, and then they would be like 11th grade, and so it's going to be similar to that. So if we have Spotify, yes, okay. We got LinkedIn, yes, LinkedIn, okay. Yelp, it's getting louder and louder. You guys are getting the hang of this, okay. Twitter, oh, should we try it again? We should try it. Twitter. Okay, Twitter had 40 people, 50 people read. Come on, Twitter. We're going to try to, one more time. Twitter? Yeah. Okay, can we have allies in Twitter? All right, there it is. Google. Yes, where's my bougie bunch? Yeah, okay. Find each other. The bougie, Lindsay, you want to come on up here? We can go a plug. You want to plug for this? Because I'm going to be hollering it all night. All right, hold on. We got mics. This event is recorded. Guys, this is a new thing. I'm so excited. I go off the schedule, so I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm Lindsay Christian. Well, good evening to everyone. I actually work for Verizon Fios News. I'm a television anchor, and actually on the weekends, and actually filling in for traffic now, so I have to be up at 2 in the morning. But I'm one of the visionaries for the Bougie Brunch, which is a platform we created for women of color to network in a social setting. And we had a successful event this past Sunday at which Sheree was one of our guests. We have several other Bougie Bunchers, and one of my other co-hosts, Rena, is there. So it's really a movement that we started, just to brunch in a positive space, and we had such a overwhelming response. So that's that.
Yes. Okay, this is for our women of color who are killing it at work, because we do that and people don't know that we do that enough, right? Okay, very cool. So we have a lot of sponsors in the room, so all the tech companies that I mentioned, but specifically within Google, we have our Women at Group who sponsored. We have an Allies at Group. This is a newer group, just kind of unifying and amplifying the voices of underrepresented populations. We also have Ms. Jal, who represents all of Gaglers, New York, all the work that she does. So give it up for Ms. Charles. She's one of our sponsors. Very cool. I also want to take the time to thank Kieran. Kieran, are you in the room? Kieran? Yes. Okay. Are you shy? We'll find out now. Okay. Kieran made our posters. She's a UX designer and researcher here at Google. Extremely brilliant. She made our posters. This is branding, this isn't that. But if you guys received any posters from us, that was all Kieran's doing. We also have photographers in the room. Khalid? We're going to say he's at the bathroom. I didn't really know. Okay, so Khalid isn't around, but he was going around taking photos of you guys. We're going to upload that. Where's my Yelp rep? We're going to upload that to a Yelp events page. So we'll have all of those pictures available for you there. We'll also send out an email with that link so that you can find that. The music that you were hearing tonight was Spotify playlist, courtesy of Spotify over here. Very cool. At the end of the event, we're also going to have Spotify do a little playlist, so that's kind of fun. LinkedIn. Okay, so they had a table. They had some swag over there. I don't think we ever set up the photos. We were going to do LinkedIn photos. Didn't really work out next time. That was a really great idea. Okay, Google, how many of you guys got Google Cardboard virtual reality? You guys got some of that swag? Okay, some Waze stuff. We bought Waze. Is that a good way to say that? I'm going to keep looking at you, Mr. All. You're in the perfect seat, because you know when you look for validation? We acquire. That's such a nice, we bought them out. Okay, so we acquired Waze, and so that's kind of a neat thing. So many thank yous. Thank yous to tech in the back. Thank you so much for all of your help. running the show. Thank you to our catering. I don't know if our catering's around, but so many thank yous. Fun fact, I lost a microphone, and then we found it. But tech has been dealing with me all day, and we've been switching up the agenda, so I'm just so thankful for everything that you guys are doing. I do want to let you guys know, well, actually, pause that, move it to next. Okay, so first off, this is how my brain works, y'all. Okay, so these tech mixers were started a while back. So I'm trying to think of what happened. I went to this tech event about HR, and it was all these tech companies coming together talking about how we can build our diverse pipeline. And it was really cool, and we had a great time. And then after, we were like, we should do more of this. Why aren't we collaborating? And so then Yelp was interested in doing, or no, wait, hold on, we're gonna pause. LinkedIn, Afifia. Where you at, girl? Okay. Afifia. Okay. So Afifia was like, we want to do something with you. And then all of a sudden it was Brandy. Hey, okay, Brandy. And then it was like, okay, we got to get Yelp on board with this. And so then it was the three of us, and we're like, let's do something. So we created an event. We hosted it at LinkedIn. It was an amazing event on intersectionality. And so we hosted that, and then I was like, hey, we're going to host the next one at Google. And we didn't want space limitations. So I was like, as many as we can fit, dang it. And so then we hosted this one here, and then I was like, we need to have some like really fun companies too. Let's get Twitter on board. Twitter, where's Taylor at? Hey, Taylor, you knew I was going to give you a shout out. Okay, so then I was like, oh, let's get Twitter on board. I love Twitter. So I jumped on my LinkedIn. Hey, and I looked up who works at Twitter, and I found Taylor. Taylor and I went to high school together, which is so fun. Yeah, in Idaho. That's embarrassing, but we shouldn't be. We are so proud of Idaho. Southern Idaho represent potatoes, and we went to high school together. We played basketball. She's quite the baller. But I found that she works there. So put together a breakfast, and that's how this happened. And then also Spotify. I did some stalking, and I found someone at Spotify. And okay, don't tell Rocio. I met her in passing. I escorted her up to a room, and then I was like, hey, I saw your presentation. It was really fantastic. You're such a great person. Can we connect? And I want to do something, so don't actually do that on LinkedIn. That's a bad idea, don't lie. But got connected with Spotify, nevertheless, and here we are. And so it's so amazing what networking can do, and I hope you had the chance this afternoon to do some networking, meet some new people, because we want to continue to build this out. We are so much more powerful together as a group, as a tech powerhouse, than we are divided trying to do our own thing and shine. And so I encourage you guys, continue to network, build those bridges, even after this event. There I'm getting off script. Hey, okay, there it is. We have an amazing event lined up for you today. My really great friend, Alexis Jones, was supposed to come and speak tonight to you guys. And I got a text this morning at 7:30, and if you know Alexis, she goes until she can't go anymore. She's really one of those people that when there's a cause she cares about, she's gonna fight to the death for you. And that's what she's been doing, especially with this ProtectHer. She has been fighting and fighting for us on the front line. She just had a meeting with NFL yesterday. I mean, she's just like going. She sends me a text this morning, and she's out of fumes, and she's not feeling well, and she had a medical emergency and caught a first flight back to Austin this morning. She's not able to be here. If there is anybody who I want fighting for us, it is her. And although I'm heartbroken that she's not here, we will play her trailer of this film so that you can kind of get a glimpse of the person that she is. And then after that, we're going to have Sara Bordo speak to us. She's the producer of this film, which is so exciting. She's also the founder of Women Rising. So Sarah's going to speak to us, and then we have a therapist in the house too. For those of you that were here for the film screening, it's powerful. It's going to crack you open and just get to the human in you, which is sometimes really hard to deal with. We're not equipped to handle our own emotions, and so we turn them off. And what we want to do tonight is crack you open, speak to that human, and we want to heal you, and we want to inspire you. And so we have a therapist who's going to come up, and she's going to speak to the human, and she's going to piece you back together. And then we're going to open it up for, the therapist, her name is Lacey Haggan, my sister. Yeah, shout out for her, and from Utah. And then we're going to do a Q&A. We'll open it up to y'all. And then at the end, we are going to network. I heard this at the Bougie Brunch. Your network is your net worth. Yep. So make sure that you network the heck out of tonight. Have some fun. I'm going to introduce Sara really quick. She has an incredible incredible bio. So I'm just going to straight read this because she's just, you know, when someone becomes too amazing that you're like, you need to start writing down because there's a lot. So this is Sara. So Sara previously held positions in media and entertainment, including executive director of interactive marketing at Paramount Pictures. She's a VP. Oh, can we pause for a second? Okay, I'm going to introduce you. We're going to show the trailer, and then you'll come on up. Does that sound good? Okay, we did this a little out of order, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, cool. Sara previously held positions in media and entertainment, including executive director of interactive marketing at Paramount Pictures. She was a VP of digital. I'm screwing this up. VP of digital marketing at MGM Studios and CEO and co-founder of Now Live, which was acquired by Live Media Group in 2013. Acquired. During her experience in entertainment, she was told by her female boss that she belonged more in an apron than in an office. I gave you a moment to feel that. Recognizing that women have to champion each other rather than allow each other to feel threatened by each other, Sara founded Women Rising, which is dedicated to empowering women and girls through content and experiences. Sara's directorial debut, A Braveheart, the Lizzie Velasquez story, broke Kickstarter records with its fundraising campaign becoming one of the site's most successful crowdfunding documentaries of all time, and most recently produced this film, ProtectHer.
In June, a case out of Stanford University sparked national outcry.
2 former Vanderbilt University football players have been found guilty of raping an unconscious 21-year-old.
Brock Turner received a 6-month sentence for sexually assaulting an unconscious 22-year-old woman.
6 months in jail and 10 years on probation.
A registered sex offender for the rest of his life.
The whole world is talking about you like you're the problem, and I just so happen to believe that you're the cure. I'm Alexis Jones, and this is ProtectHer. You are the dudes that every other dude on this 50,000 plus campus are looking at, taking cues from you, and I believe that we can rebrand what manhood is.
I was living the dream, and because of a horrible decision, I had to face the nightmare.
Bryce was suspended indefinitely after a graphic video surfaced showing the extent of the assault.
You should never be in a situation as a man that you're thinking about physically harming, verbally abusing someone, emotionally abusing a woman. Never in a million years.
I think we have a great opportunity as men to lift each other up, to lift women up, but really to recognize the true and best version of ourselves. We need each other.
If you're in a situation where you see a teammate doing the wrong thing, put your 2 feet on the ground, stand up, and do the right thing.
The girls that I've been around, and the girls that are suffering and that have been raped, and girls don't feel safe on campus.
Like when you say no, like guys are just supposed to be like, oh, okay. Like I was very naive thinking that.
Raise your hand if you think there's a problem in the way in which girls are being treated.
I am familiar with all the other sexual harassment and sexual violence prevention curricula, and I've contributed to much of it. ProtectHer has the unique approach of mobilizing athletes.
They're important in this conversation. They actually possess the power to impact someone's life forever by choosing to do what's right.
How we did on the field means nothing. But the beauty is this ball taught us what it means to truly protect her.
It's a land full of kings. If we can't protect the queens, life ain't always black and white as it seems. And y'all trying to find out what it means.
Hi, you guys. I'm so grateful to be here. This is a big deal for a filmmaker this is my second film to direct and produce, so this is a big deal. So thank you for having me. I just really want to take a moment and just I just really wish Alexis was here, because this whole project was completely catalyzed by her recognizing that criminalizing athletes wasn't helping fix the problem. She's a Texas tomboy. She's got 4 older brothers. She was an athlete. She's married to now an ex-professional athlete. And everything that she has really brought forward to all of her relationships and everything that she, and that's a good night. Everything that she has really brought to her life is championing women and inspiring women. And through that experience, and I was saying this a little bit to the group that was here at the very beginning, but I'll just recap a story because I think it's really important. And that is that she founded a nonprofit called I'm That Girl. 1 million members, 20 countries, badass version of Girl Scouts. You kind of get the picture. Through that incredible work, she started getting invited as an expert to speak to groups of men to let them know what girls were facing. And she started getting invited to a lot of locker rooms. Well, the calls that she was receiving went from being, hey, come in and tell us what girls are facing, to, Alexis, can you get on the phone? Can you get on the plane and come back here? Because my starting players just ran a train on a girl last night. There's video footage, and I don't know what to do. So Alexis and I have known each other for about 15 years now. It's crazy, but it's true. We both hail from the great city of Austin, so there must be some really badass female empowerment happening from where we come from, and absolutely. She was an executive producer on my first film, A Braveheart, and I'm going to loop back to ProtectHer in a minute, but I really want to get to an important piece that my dear friend Michael Campo, who you're going to meet in a minute because he was my DP on ProtectHer, brought forward. So the reason I moved home from LA after that career in entertainment was that Alexis called me and she said, okay, so there's never been a TED Women event in Austin. And it's happening on December 5th around the world. And I said, that's in 3 months. And she said, I know. And you're pretty much the only person that is audacious enough to take on a challenge like that. And I was like, fuck, you're probably right. So I said yes. So I moved home. We produced and directed the first TED Women in Austin. And out of 220 of them around the world, we were the most live viewed and VOD viewed of that year. And I'm going to tell you why I think that is. TED Women event. We've seen, I'm sure that lots of you guys have watched TED Women talks and probably been to some TED Women events. I insisted, and Alexis bought off on it, and together that really catalyzed a lot of the decisions that we make. Half the stage had to have men. This couldn't just be women fighting for women's issues. I had to see, and we had to prove, and we had to show that there were men that were standing up for women's issues in exactly the same percentage. And I think that that's a reason why it was as successful as it was. I then just directed and produced the Women's March of Texas at the Capitol. Thanks. And I got called 3 weeks in advance saying, would you, help us out? And 3 and 3, I know. So, but the 3 days next time, that's right. So I think for that, what I also said was, I'll do it under one condition. I don't want hate at that podium. I don't want fear at that podium. If it's going to be my podium to program and direct, then I want as many men as I want women up there. And I want positivity and aspiration and hope. I don't want to, everyone's already coming terrified. Let's not send them home even more terrified. And it became the largest gathering of women in Texas history. So I want to now come back to ProtectHer, and I want to come back to why we're here. And I want to, first of all, just say it's a very interesting thing. We did this film for male athletes. And I'm in a room full of just absolutely badass women and some really fucking brave guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Why this is important. I was told by a female boss that I belong more in an apron than in an office. The better I became at my job, the worse our relationship became. And I don't know if that feels familiar to anybody, but I think that we're living in a time when women need to be championed at all costs, period. And if we are still struggling figuring out how to do that for each other, then simultaneously let's start activating the men who, whether we really believe it intentionally or not, and I've now spoken to thousands and thousands of people about this, is that there is still a part of us that feels even stronger when we have a man in our corner. So, enter ProtectHer. We believed that if we could take Alexis's talk and build a master class group of rad coaches and athletes around her to bolster her narrative, that we might have something special. So today, what was screened here was the first of a 4-part doc-series. This is the feature, and then there are 3 shorts. We also partnered with a Department of Justice, PhD, just super award-winning curriculum writer. So a package called ProtectHer is being sold as of July, and we're specifically going to NCAA schools to go and license the hell out of it. I think there are some questions that happened today, and I wanna say that I would so much more prefer answer questions, so I'm gonna get off the stage in a minute. But I would love for, and we'd be so grateful for, if you're on social, just #ProtectHer, that would be beautiful. I think that what we're trying to do is raise the awareness right now. That's the place that we're in, so that when we come to market, we might get support already. People are gonna be able to buy licenses for the colleges and high schools that they went to. We really are already seeing that if the male athletes feel empowered and inspired by the guys that are doing it right, because there are a lot of guys that are doing it right. And I speak about this film as not only a filmmaker and a sister and of 2 brothers. I've never had a sister, but you're also talking to me as a filmmaker who's also a survivor of sexual assault, and I take that really seriously. So, if you haven't seen the film, hopefully it'll have some distribution so that you can see it. But I'm just really honored to be here, and thank you for doing what you're doing, and I guess I'll answer some questions in a little while. Cool? Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. I'm hanging out up here.
Perfect. I think all these work. I think just grab whatever. I would like to have Lacey. Can you come on up? So Lacey is a therapist who specializes in trauma. She currently works at
I work at 3 Point Center in Southern Utah. So it's a program for teens who have experienced a lot of trauma and need a lot of healing and support. So I get to just love on them every day of the week, and it's amazing. But I'm also here to support my sister. Oh, okay.
All right. Cool. And then we have Michael. Michael. Okay, Michael, where are you at? Michael, you coming on up? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You want to intro him?
Yes.
How about it?
Yes, I do. Okay, so this is my very good friend and brother, Michael Campo. Hi, pleasure. A real pleasure. Mike has worked with me on A Braveheart, the Lizzie Velasquez story. He was my DP on ProtectHer, and then last week we announced Women Rising's next film, and we are lucky enough to be producing and directing the official documentary of the 9/11 children. So,
wow, give it up.
And Mike is going to be directing that, and I'm going to be producing that. So,
Very cool. All right, so before we open it up to audience Q&A, I did want to give Lacey a chance to speak to whatever you got from the film.
All right, so earlier Sheree had mentioned that last night we screened the film before we showed it today. And I was like, sorry, pause it. After 3 minutes, I was like, pause it, write this down. This is my thought. And then 5 minutes later, pause it, sorry. And she was expecting that we were just gonna watch it and then afterwards. But I'm very much about processing things in the moment that you experience it. In fact, the program that I work at with teens, when they have a really hard time and they break down, we're not just, oh, go away and we'll talk about it later. We will stop everything that we're doing in the classroom, come together and talk about what's coming up for you, what's going on for you. So that's exactly what I did last night. I forced her to be present with me in my thought process. And one of the things that I wanted to speak to was the sensitivity about this documentary. And I was telling Sarah, you did a phenomenal job of bringing forth the sensitivity with a candid discussion. It was very real. And but it really was just so sensitive to the trauma that was experienced, as well as the empowerment of what can change. And so to identify trauma for you guys, it's a distressing experience that is outside of your control. And maybe for the female perspective, these women who've experienced assault, it was 100% outside of their control. From the male perspective, however, they did have control. And I think a lot of what the problem is what Alexis talks about, is men are programmed to disrespect women and kind of animalized as if, justifying what they've done, or they just weren't thinking, or their instincts kicked in. And what I want to remind people is that the difference between animals and humans is that animals operate with instinct. Humans operate in intellect. And that means you have a choice, which means you do have control. And so what's so powerful about this is that we can really shift that culture so that men take that control and they use it for something that's positive. So it's more about using that power and that privilege and that position. Instead of oppressing, we're gonna lift people up and we're gonna protect our women. So it's so cool, and that's really what stuck out to me. Something I thought about in looking at using your intellect is being intentional about how you treat people. One of the quotes was looking at women not as a prize, but as a person. Looking at manhood with being connected to how they treat women. So again, that's intentionality. It's, I'm gonna respect you on purpose. In my mind, I might be thinking, you're really beautiful. I would like to encounter you in a sexual way. And that's actually very normal, but it's what you do with that thought, really taking control and taking a step back instead of just the mentality that like people owe you sex. So really using their brains. The next thing I was thinking about was accountability and ownership over your mind and over your body. Instead of dismissing your behavior or justifying your behavior, being able to say, I effed up, I was wrong, and then again, being intentional about doing something different. And then the last point that I thought of is really this documentary connects to the humanness of people. And what Alexis and Sarah and everyone within this movement, what they're doing is they're cultivating a generation of men who care. So that's really speaking to, she said, I want to speak to like the superheroes here. And I call you out to rise up and to be the person that you can be in really connecting humanity to come together instead of that divide of, again, power and oppression. So what I had talked about, or what I had written down, was shifting from a place of dominance, power, and oppression to a place of respect, honor, and protection. And to me, that is just so important because, yes?
Can you say that again?
Oh, sorry.
Everyone get out your phones.
Get out your phones. Take notes. Okay. So we are shifting from a place of dominance, power, and oppression to a place of respect, honor, and protection. And I have an 8-year-old boy and a 1-year-old boy, so I have these 2 little men that I'm raising, and their father is a professional athlete. And so I watched this film, and I just thought, my boys will be different. They will be different. They will be the ones that respect women and really promote this culture of caring. Just simply like stepping outside of yourself and saying, I see something that's wrong, so I'm gonna step in. Or I see something that's right, and I'm gonna honor that, and I'm gonna champion that, like what you said. So this is really, sexual trauma is just so huge because, again, there's a lack of control. So I see this as taking that control back. And the way that you do that is you connect with people, you connect with therapists, you be open about your story instead of hiding in shame, because nothing can change when you bury it under the rug. You've got to be able to step out and find safe people that you trust and work through it. So I know that people have had bad experiences with therapists. I've talked to people about that all the time. And it's not so much about seeing a mental health specialist, but finding someone who's safe enough to validate your pain and say that wasn't your fault. You shouldn't have gone through that. That's not fair. And then also for you who encountered that sexual trauma, there's a huge loss of trust there. So how am I supposed to trust and believe and hope that there's good men out there when I have encountered something so horrible and traumatizing? And what I would say to you is first validate your pain, that it wasn't your fault. Again, talking to someone who's safe, and then seeking out a new experience. And that doesn't mean going to the club and finding a guy and say, show me that you're different. But it does mean, reaching out to family members and getting close to them and fathers and brothers and cousins and opening your eyes to see that there is still good in the world. There really is. And even if, you're brave enough or safe enough to share your story with a male, that'll change one male's perspective, and he will see you as a sister instead of a prize or something to dominate. So, with that, to just kind of wrap that up, again, really, really connect with people, care about people, seek help, share your story, and I believe that we can do big things with this, with what you showed. So thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Thank you. And it is so important to unpack, be vulnerable. We want to open it up to you guys and gals and gender nonconforming to ask questions. And so whatever is weighing on your heart or on your mind, we would love to have you ask us some questions. We've got some microphones right here. This event is being recorded. Shout out to Tech in the back. So we want to make sure that we catch your questions. So have at it.
Or if you want to stay in your seat, that's okay.
Don't be shy. If you want to stay in your seat, grab the microphone and then sit down. Okay.
Since I'm one of the few males here. One, I want to commend you. We were speaking earlier that you actually took an angle of not bashing men, but empowering them to take the power and help change the situation rather than just saying, hey, you guys are evil, particularly the athletes and things of that nature. I want to make a second comment. I apologize. I've coached high school football for the past 15 years, and there are a lot of great kids who are trying to do the right things, and I'll give you one story of that. There was a young man on one of our teams who got a text from, unfortunately, a young lady who was having some mental issues, who sent him a very explicit photo of herself and saying, come over and this type of thing. And he did the right thing. He said, I don't want any parts of that. Brought it to the faculty's attention and said, listen, I think she might need some help, whatever. I don't want to be involved in anything that's going to get me in trouble or detrimental in that respects. And there are guys that do those type of things. And listen, you see this gentleman who lost their lives in Portland trying to save, to go help those girls who are being attacked by that man. So there is a positive side of all this. Unfortunately, media only perpetuates the few instances in where they made the wrong decision and not going by the right way. The question I do have for you after saying all that is, as you push ProtectHer out there, what is the main, not the catalyst, but what's a year from now, what would you have changed, even just from July 1st when you release this to next July and moving forward?
You answer first.
Okay. I think why I'm so passionate about this project and was so delighted to be a part of it is because it has the potential to really change people's hearts. I think we live in a society today where it's all mixed up, and what I love about ProtectHer is that it instills a sense of courage again. I think we all have courage inside of us, and I think that we need to bring that out. I think we need to be more courageous, and we all affect each other's lives, with the decisions that we make. So to be courageous and to make a difference in individuals' lives, that's not just our what we're supposed to do. It's our responsibility, you know, it's our calling. It's what we need to do. So so to answer your question as far as like what I would personally love to see happen with this film is I would like to see the beginning of guys, you know, having their hearts changed and seeing, you know, that it's not being we're not being told that we're the problem, but that we have the potential to be the solution. So that's something that's important to me.
Great, thank you. Did you want to add to that, Sarah? He nailed it, right? Okay. We're a tech company. We want to see those numbers drop. We want to see that data drop. Okay. All right. Anyone else have a question? We have time for two more. So don't be shy. Don't be waiting until everybody asks a question or you won't have your time. All right. Hey, we got 3 people. Did you have a question as well? We got 2 here though, right? Okay, 2 and here. Okay, perfect. So we are going to run a little bit late today. So we'll run about 10 minutes late because we got started 10 minutes late. So we'll do that. So you will have your time to network. We'll make our way through these questions. If we have time, we'll take a final one. Okay, go right ahead.
So I think these kind of topics are like difficult to bring up, especially in our society. Like it's difficult to talk to people about it because they get nervous, they don't know how to react, they don't know what's the wrong thing to say, they don't want to offend anyone, so it just gets ignored. And I'm sure there's like a psychological term for that, but people just don't like to talk about difficult situations because they don't know how to talk about it. So I'm wondering, like, yes, you want to educate men, but what can we do as women to bring it up? Obviously, we all have guy friends. So what can we do? How do we bring it up? And what do we say? And how do we empower other women to do the same? So I just want like action, practical things to do, like tasks. What can we do?
You should take that. Yeah.
I just want to say, share your story. Share your story with people who deserve to hear your story. Don't cast your pearls before swine. That's something that's in the Bible. But if they're your friends, sit them down. And, you know, this documentary is a great conversation starter. I heard about this awesome documentary that talked about sexual assault, and I'm nervous talking about that because that's actually something that I've been through or something that I know. You can use things as conversation starters, and then you can say, would you be open to me sharing my experience with you, or is that something that maybe you're not ready to hear? Ask that first, and then ask for what you need. I'm sharing with you not to get advice from you, not for you to fix it. I just want you to know, because people don't always know how to respond to those things. So then they say the wrong thing, and then you're like, I knew I shouldn't have said anything. Now I'm not going to tell anyone. And so just really be intentional about what you need in that moment and what you're hoping to see happen. And I promise you, stories, they change hearts. And then that changes behavior and culture and humanity.
I would love to ladder on top of that. Manny Wilkins, who was the Arizona quarterback, if you saw the film, then you remember him. And, you know, he's doing some really incredible things that we as women should simply be taking a page out of. If we're at a party or if we're around a table or we're at dinner and a guy is referencing to a woman as a bitch or a whore or something derogative, and we're there, he's talking about one of us. You know, to abide by that, to ignore that, to let it slide, like, oh, it's okay because he's not talking about me. Fuck that. You know, that is, we have to be teachers too. We have to be teachers in the moments that we can, in these small opportunities to say, you know what, I get that you're just, you know, trying to be funny, but I don't think I want to hear that about people like me. And I think it's just being able to stand up one at a time, because to go from not standing up for women to all the way and sitting down and being organized and tell your story about sexual assault, I think that we think there's a ramp up, and I think that there are some small steps that we can be taking, but I think it just starts with wanting to be seen and wanting to be respected.
And that makes me think of, don't be afraid to make people uncomfortable. You know, they say something and you let it slide. Like you said, say something.
I apologize also for my cursing.
Oh,
I support that
I'm-
language. It's fitting.
Thank you so much.
you hear Lacey over here. Dang it.
Yeah.
That's the Idaho. Don't even worry about that.
okay.
She's not
Utah,
judging you.
Utah now, but
Yeah.
there's no
This
judgment.
is now Utah. Yeah, don't even worry about that.
So I'm so grateful that you told your story about your boss because I actually, before I started working at Yelp, I had the fortunate experience of only in my professional life having women as bosses. But it was interesting because before I got there, I went to a women's college as well. So I had this expectation, oh yeah, it's great. But there were, it's wonderful to have women as bosses and to live in this, but at the same time, I felt like a lot of the women that I had as bosses, they weren't necessarily supportive, and they would take the male colleagues and prioritize them over that. And I have just in the past couple of months had the experience of having my first boss as a guy, and I was traumatized, but I was just, oh my gosh, how is this going to work? Because I've never done this before, and it's actually been a really great experience. But I guess my question would be, what is the formula to create great women leaders that are supporting other women? And I've seen so many in the workplace that I'm at, so many, and I feel so fortunate, but I feel like it's something where as women we're trained to look at each other as competing against each other, and we're not even trained to look at ourselves as our everyday goals, and think, what are our professional goals? We think the top of the list, how do I lose 20 pounds or something, and how do we reprogram ourselves to look at women as people that need professional development and work with each other and want to not necessarily take the other one out, like there can only be one, but create an environment where there can be many and we can all work together.
First of all, I'd like to be invited to create a whole day conference talking about that.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
That was bold of me, but so what? 3 days. Okay, 3 days. I hear a 3-dayer over here. Do I hear 4? Anyone? 4. So a couple things in the interest of time. I believe that women compete emotionally. I believe that men, by sheer nature and genetic tenure in this, they compete on the field. There is a time clock that expires historically. There is a field that they walk off of. They slap each other on the ass, whether they win or lose, and then they take a shower, and it's okay because they're used to competing.
Yeah.
We are still getting used to that stuff. We are still breaking into norms where things are getting more and more comfortable. I mean, how many years have women even been working versus how many years that men have been in charge of that? We're still figuring this out. My number one thing is I think we need to be more patient with each other because no one has the fucking answers yet. But we need to support each other while we figure that out. I also feel for you and to recognize that there are still a lot of women that maybe never had a foundation of feeling worthy. And that stuff stems from childhood, and those things stem from home. And they're on a journey to keep feeding that sense, and it comes at the cost of bringing each other down. So I would just say, recognize the difference between, is she actually maliciously coming after me, or does she simply not have the tools and the awareness that we can actually both win simultaneously? More to come in my conference at Google.
We're going to do the conference.
Notice that Sheree's snapping over here, so if you hear anything that you really connect with, please be sure to snap pretty loud.
Yeah, when you do events, do you know how long a snap takes? You're done. Applause, it's like it goes on forever. I'm sorry. It's also the poet in me. We're going to snap that. We have time for one more question, so please.
Hi, guys. I'm Jess. I'm a customer success manager at LinkedIn, where I primarily help customers 6 months down the road, 9 months down the road, do well with whatever they've invested in with LinkedIn. It's a lot of fun. So my mind naturally goes to those kinds of topics. And also, I am was an athlete at the University of Texas. So if you watch this documentary, you understand that that like stabbed me to my core, because that is real. Everything that you saw was so real, and I've witnessed firsthand a lot of it. So it really did affect me. But one of my thoughts is watching that and watching you guys speak to the University of Texas was just so inspirational to me, and I'm so thankful that you did because it was so necessary. But what can we do like 6 months, 9 months down the line to continue the conversation with these athletes, continue to empower them? Is there something that you're already doing with the licensing? And I know it's a more tactical question, but that's where my mind goes because I want to help.
Thank you so much. So Elise, you're back there. Okay, Elise is the publicist for ProtectHer and is working very closely with Alexis to kind of get this out. We would love if we can kind of assemble this rad social media army that starts bringing it to schools and references, and we can arm you with that language so that you can go back to UT, even though they're already buying it, so we're gonna do that. But I think it's just imparting the concept that we want to raise good men, not just raise good athletes. Amen. Thank you, Harold. I think that it is going to take a lot of us to bring it forward. In 6 or 9 months, I'm hopeful that we have at least 30% of the NCAA with licenses for this, because they're spending millions of dollars on equipment and gear, and this program is going to brand new facilities, and we're talking about a curriculum in the small thousands, and it cost us a lot, and honestly, we're just trying to make the money back. So, and to build, I mean, we also have a delivery platform that is all analytics based. I was in digital marketing, so I was very particular about delivering on those numbers. But thank you, and yes, we'd love to get your help.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you very much. All right. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. Can you grab these 2 really full bags real quick? Okay, just for a minute. Yeah, just this bag. Thank you, Katie. That's all good. She's got it. I believe this full ones. Those ones are a little light. I mean, I could grab them. Oh, but no big deal. I think. Do I have it? I didn't want to bend because I don't like. You never know what's gonna happen. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm so excited you guys were able to make it tonight. I checked Twitter and I saw some hashtags coming through. Keep hashtagging. That's how we find your posts, and I will like them so you get more likes. So that's good. And I'll retweet them.
And Alexis will message
and
them.
Alexis will reach out to you. So, which is kind of fun. So you want to hear from her. She has been texting me. She misses you guys. She's never met you, but she misses me. But she's sending her love out to y'all. I've been sending her photos, so you see me snapping up here. So make sure that you hashtag. We've got hashtag ProtectHer. That's a fun one. I've seen some folks. Sandy, I saw you. Hey, girl. And Lindsay, I've been seeing your tweets. Okay, so, and hashtag Women Rising as well. We want to make sure that we get that message out there. And then our hashtag for the event tonight is Tech Mixer NYC, or you just do Tech Mixer, we'll find you. And then if you have questions, feel free to also ask a question. Shoot that hashtag on there, and we'll jump on there, and we'll see if we can answer some of those questions. If you're interested in having Sara come out and speak at your company, I know we have so many companies here, please reach out, and we can set up a screening there. We can set up whatever you guys need. A lot of you guys are well connected with universities. If you would like to have your universities get a hold of this curriculum, please reach out. I'm going to be sending you all an email, so all of you guys who register, I'll send you an email. Just respond to that email. I get hundreds of emails a day, so I can handle. Respond to that email, and we'll get you connected with the right people to do what you need to do in your spaces to create change. Sound good? All right.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. I have swag bags for you. I'll give them to you when we're all wrapped up. And when we're going to do photos. So stick around. Do your networking. You don't have to feel like you have to jolt out of here unless your subway stops running, like mine does sometimes. But you don't have to jolt out of here. We've got the space for a while. The music might cut out, You got to go home, but whatever. But hang out.
Hey,
get to know
Sheree,
each
I want to
other.
pause you real quick. That's my
think?
favorite line that she loves that I say is, I'm going to pause you real quick. I do that in
So
sessions
funny.
when I want to interject. I just want to take this moment actually to honor you, because I noticed that you're closing. I hear your
agree.
language. And yeah.
Own that.
Come here. Okay, so I was leaving work a month ago, and my sister says I have this huge event that I'm planning, single-handedly, by the way. So by herself, this event
Wait,
outside
can we
of
have
her
my
normal job.
team come out?
I mean, she gets support from them, but honestly, I'm
we'll
not
do it in
gonna
a
lie.
second.
I really want to do this for you, sister. So she says I'm doing this huge event, and I was like, oh, I wish I could go. And then I was like, wait a minute, I should go. And she's like, you should go. And so I just made it happen. I put in for my time for vacation. I got care for my baby boys, and I flew out here from Southern Utah last night, and I'm really exhausted. But actually, this isn't even about me. Like, she has spent hours doing her networking, her random, like, I'm going to escort someone and then also get their number, and everything that she did to bring you all here. I was out there watching you guys drink and eat and, like, connect with people, and I was like, oh my word, you did that. Like, you did that. You brought everyone here. So, round of applause for her.
All right, and on that note, my team, you want to come up and hang? We've got, so the team from Yelp and Twitter and Spotify and LinkedIn, you want to see the magic. This is our magic.
I think for Sheree, we should give some snaps. If we're going to clap, we should snap. For some
Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, if my team can come up here, that's how your guys are going to get your gifts too. Come on up and hang. All right, and then we'll wrap it up. Does that sound, Trafford, come on up. Afifia, Taylor, Cheryl, Brandy, come on up. All right. I will need some help in distribution. You got that? Ms. Strahl, do you want to come help? Come hang? You're good at bending? Okay, cool. So I have books for you guys. Alexis Jones has a book. It is called, oh, that's where my notebook went. I lost that a while ago. Okay, so this book, I Am That Girl, it is available at Passman Books over in Chelsea Market. So they purchased a bunch of her books for y'all. You have to buy them, but go buy them from them. But I Am That Girl, feel free to get this book. That's another way that you can get a little piece of Alexis. So you guys all get books. You guys also get, big plug for Google virtual reality cardboard. So if you didn't get one while we have that out there, we do have Google Cardboard for all of you up here. You can purchase this on google.com/cardboard. All right, very fun. Great, and thank you so much to my team. You guys put some hard work in. Your guys' responsibility was getting the bodies here, so you did fantastic. Oh, we want to do an intro for everybody. Let's do that. Yeah, thank you.
Zofia Chehowska, Women at Spotify.
Hi, Taylor Williams, according to Sheree, basketball star in high school. And I work at Twitter on the global brands team.
Trafford Judd, Women at LinkedIn and Out at In.
Afifia Simon, Women at LinkedIn.
And I'm Brandy Younger at Women at Yelp. And Sheree really did put all of this together. I think this would not have been doable without her diligence, without her organization, her amazing party planning skills that came out of nowhere. If you get a chance to talk to her and introduce yourself, she is a wonderful example of what a woman in tech should be, and she is just amazing. So thank you to you, and you're wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, well, with that, thank you for coming to our big Tech Mixer NYC. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Get home safe.